Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review.
Pop, what it do, baby? It's your boy Gem Mint, and I gotta give a huge happy birthday to my boy, Rockin' Robbie. Well, more specifically, the PCP channel, Pop Culture Philosophers. You guys know that Rockin' Robbie is the best there is at what he does. And what he does is reads a lot of comic books, and he's gonna let you know what he thought about them. But up first, we got the pick of the... No, anyway. Yo, 10 years is crazy, man. You know, I love you, Robbie. Hopefully we work together in the future. You know, I'm getting back into these single issues myself. I still catch up on the channel, and I love what you do. Keep doing what you do, and stay minty fresh. Peace.
That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, issue number 1 from DC Comics, DC Black Label in particular. So this is set outside of continuity. It's not tied into anything going on with the DCU or the Superman books. It's just kind of completely its own thing. But what really makes this stand out, and what really got my attention when I first heard about it, was this is the exact same creative team as Ice Cream Man. Now, if you've been watching this comic book review show for years, you know how much I love Ice Cream Man. I think it's one of the greatest comic book series of the last 25 years for certain, 100%. So you got the writer, W. Maxwell Prince, you got the artist, Martin Morazzo, you got the colorist, Chris O'Halloran, and you got the letterer, good old Neon, taking what they do in Ice Cream Man and applying it through the lens of DC Black Label into Superman. First of all, wow, I can't believe that somebody decided it was a great idea to get the Ice Cream Man team to do a Superman book. Then I'm thinking, what will the innovative, experimental, and subversive, and sometimes some might call transgressive team behind Ice Cream Man going to do to Superman? Are they going to Ice Cream Manify it up? Are they going to honor the legacy of what's come before? Are they going to do something completely unique and different? Well, they did pretty much almost all of the above. This is absolutely a fantastic comic book. I had a lot of fun with it, and one of the things that I loved about it so much was it does bring a sense of fun. Now, as much as I love the book Ice Cream Man, I will admit that it's not quite a fun comic book sometimes, especially how depressing it can get, how real, how brutally honest, authentic, and real Ice Cream Man can be. This kind of leans more into the goofy superhero nature of Superman and his mythology, in particular about the Kryptonite spectrum. So we know that Kryptonite, green Kryptonite, is a piece of Superman's irradiated home planet that causes him to weaken and lose his powers and potentially die. We also know there are other variations of Kryptonite that do different things. Gold Kryptonite, which takes away his powers. Red Kryptonite, which does something else. All these other different types of kryptonite that do different things. And in this book, W. Maxwell Prince comes up with the idea that there are other colors. Now, we've had other colors played with before, but basically the kryptonite spectrum doubles here in the pages of Superman the Kryptonite Spectrum, and Superman decides to use himself as a guinea pig to figure out what each one of these different kryptonites is going to do, with the help of Batman. And it's pretty cool, but at the same time, it's rather clever in an innovative, experimental type way like Ice Cream Man is. This book plays with storytelling in a very interesting way. Now, I don't want to reveal it, but the first piece of kryptonite, this purple kryptonite, they're trying to figure out what it does to Superman, how it manifests in through his powers and abilities. It's interesting how that ties into the structure of the comic book. I thought it was kind of clever. I liked it a lot. Now, Martin Morazzo, I was curious as to see how he would illustrate the world of Superman. Superman feels big, but it still feels very much like Martin Morazzo. It looks exactly like the art team of Ice Cream Man, but it's not trying to be a big action-packed Superman book, though it does have that. It's mostly, I love how it's kind of, there's a lot of comparisons I could put to All-Star Superman, for instance, with how the big in Superman's world feels very mundane. And that's something that comes across here, but it still has a sense of fun. It's got that innovative nature of the creative team. It's a book that's fun, and I had so much fun with this book. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty strong. And out of everything we had this week, I thought it was by far the strongest. That's enough rambling. Either you're going to like it or you're not. It's Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, issue number 1. That's your pick of the week. All right, then we've got Action Comics 1089. Mark Waid is back on Action Comics telling us an untold tale of Superboy year 1, basically, right? It's Clark, he's in Smallville, he's decided to make a go as a hero. It's the first year of Superboy within this new recontextualized timeline of the DC Universe, right? So it's a retcon of sorts, but it works. It works pretty cool. I like it. I like seeing young Clark kind of have a conflict with what it is to be a hero, what it is to accept the responsibility of these abilities, especially at a young age. Skylar Patridge does a great job with the artwork, and one thing in particular I really like about this book is it has Captain Comet in it. Now, one of my comics I read, probably my very first comic I ever read, was a DC Comics Presents. It was like in the 80s or the 90s. It was about Halley's Comet, and it had Superman teamed up with Captain Comet. So it's cool to see it here, but Captain Comet may not be quite what he appears to be. I really like this. I thought it had a nice sense of modern, retro, pulpy superheroes to it. That's a weird thing to say. All right, then we got Aquaman here with issue number 8. Wow, we're already on issue number 8 of Aquaman. This is an alright issue of Aquaman. It's wrapping up this story that they've been doing. Aquaman's gone into another world trying to find the missing people of Atlantis, but there have been some things that have happened in the last couple issues that me as an Aquaman fan, I'm like, I don't know if I vibe with that. I don't know if I really fully vibe with this ending. Aquaman gets like a little bit more of a new power set, and that's interesting because we've seen things like that explored before, especially by like Rick Veitch, for instance, had a pretty interesting run dealing with stuff like that. Some magical aspects of Aquaman and his powers and his world. But anyway, this is kind of like a big ending, and it's all right. I don't know. I really like Jeremy Adams, but I'm kind of not super sold on his Aquaman right now. I was for the first like 3 or 4 issues, but these last 4 issues or so, starting to have me a little bit concerned. Then we got Green Lantern Corps here with issue number 7. Jeremy Adams and is it Morgan Hampton, I believe, is the co-writer on the book. Yes, Morgan Hampton. Then we got Fernando Passarin and Auclair Albert on the art. I'm liking it. So this is part of this Starbreaker Supremacy book. This is everything that's been built up to in the pages of Green Lantern and even other Green Lantern books like Green Lantern War Journal, for instance. It's all been leading up to this. It's crossover with Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. It fits exactly as a crossover should. This is part 2. It's not just like a fill-in, tie-in type thing. This is part 2, but the emotional spectrum has been leached away by our villains, right? So all of humanity has no emotions now, so we're dealing with that. So some of the Green Lantern members that maybe don't have such tie to emotion have to help figure out what's going on. Plus some really interesting things being played with the lore and bringing some of my favorite things back from the Jeff Johns run. So I think the book's pretty solid. Then we got Batman Dark Patterns, issue number 9. The end of the third part story in this 12-issue series of 4 3-part stories. So this is the end of the Pareidolia story, and I thought it ended fantastically well, especially on the inside level of Bruce Wayne, right? As Batman as a character, he's kind of having to come to grips with maybe his obsession sometimes causes more harm than good. So it's a really satisfying conclusion to this story that has been fantastic. In fact, all of these little stories within Dark Patterns has been great, and the artwork by Hayden Sherman is amazing. Dan Waters' use of the narrative to help extrapolate things from Bruce that we don't usually fully see realized within the character. I really like that. Dark Patterns is sleek. Then we got Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice, issue number 2. I was kind of harsh on issue number 1 because I didn't think it really did the job of an issue number 1, but it wasn't in issue number 1. It was initially supposed to be issue 7 of Kryptonite Age, but then something happened where it was delayed a little bit, so they decided to split the books into 2. So if you were coming into that book reading as an issue number 1, it didn't feel like in issue number 1. You kind of felt thrown into it. But here at issue number 7, all that irons back out for me, and I thought that this was a really solid issue. So we have taken the time across the previous series and now into this series to slowly develop these Justice League entities in the world of Gotham by Gaslight, which is a Victorian era Batman story from P. Craig Russell. Was it P. Craig Russell? Anyway, Mike Mignola, of course. Was Russell a part of that? I think he was the inker, actually, now that I think about it. Brian Augustin, I believe, was the writer, if I remember correctly. Anyway, pretty solid book. This is a follow-up of sorts, but it's also set to introduce the Justice League. And now that they have formed together, and that's what we had in that last issue, was them forming together and kind of dealing with some stuff. Here we have them trying to come together as a cohesive team and dealing with the different personalities. I liked this issue. I thought it was solid. Then we got a facsimile. Of course, we got a foil, non-foil, blank cover, superpowers action figure variant of Batman Harley Quinn. This was a big issue. I think, pretty sure this is the first time Harley Quinn shows up in mainline DC continuity. Because, of course, she was created for the TV show by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, right? So this is Harley's first introduction into the DCU proper. It's a cool Alex Ross cover. It's cool to have that in foil. Let's jump over to Marvel, where we have Predator Kills the Marvel Universe issue number 1. This issue was all right. I kind of liked it. People, some of the homies at the shop were like, "Oh, that wasn't really cool." I was like, "Well, did you read the stuff leading up to it?" They're like, "No." That's what I liked about this book, was all the stuff leading up to it. So if you read Predator versus Wolverine, and then Predator versus Black Panther, and Predator versus Spider-Man, it was all leading to this moment, which is set in continuity. Because you got Kraven in the midst of all of this, you've got Weapon X and Predator kind of having their little thing, and then you've got the bits from the Predators that are after Vibranium. So all the stuff, all the groundwork that was laid in those other 3 Predator series all comes to fruition here, where we pretty much have a Predator invasion of the Marvel Universe, and it immediately gets bloody, and there are casualties. So I liked it. It's just big, dumb fun. Don't expect too much from it, but if you enjoyed the other series, I think you'll enjoy this one as well. Then we've got Uncle Scrooge, Earth Mightiest Duck, issue number 1, the start of a new Uncle Scrooge series from Marvel Comics, and it's cool that they're playing around with Uncle Scrooge, because the work of, like, Don Rosa and particularly Carl Barks, that is monumental for comic books and comic book history. Right now over at Dynamite DuckTales, that book is playing with that legacy a little bit, and here we are with Uncle Scrooge. The difference with the Marvel book, and this is written by Jason Aaron with a few different artists, including Mahmoud Asrar and Common Cully, a few different artists, but they're all doing different chapters, and it has a nice artistic flow to it. So I guess this is, if Dynamite with DuckTales right now is doing Uncle Scrooge comics almost like the classic way, this is Marvel doing Uncle Scrooge comics in the Marvel way, right? So there's an alien invasion. They're trying to steal all the coins on the earth. They're after Scrooge's coins. They can't find him. Scrooge doesn't know where he is. They're getting into his head, pulling out his memories. It's kind of all over the place, this book is, but it's kind of fun because of it. I liked it. I didn't like it as something that would have just, it would have been a little bit more rooted and anchored in just classic Carl Barksy type storytelling. But, you know, been there, done that. If you want to read that stuff, Fantagraphics has great collections of it. So this is Jason Aaron and company trying to do something a little bit different, and I'm here for it. I think it's fine. I like Uncle Scrooge. I like these Disney characters. I'm glad Marvel's doing something with them. Then we got Bring on the Bad Guys, Red Skull issue number 1. It's a one-shot, the latest in a series of one-shots, celebrating some of Marvel's best villains, right? So we've had Loki, we've had Doctor Doom, we've had Green Goblin, and now we got Red Skull. And it's all tied in with this Mephisto story where he's trying to get enough souls, and he's got this woman, Sister Sorrow, who's working for him, and he's got all these other villains kind of working for him to, like, have some kind of ultimate end game, because the last one-shot is, of course, bringing on the bad guys, Mephisto. Now, some of these one-shots very much tied in to this thread of this Mephisto story, and some haven't really been that tied in. This one's a little bit more tied in, but it does also seemingly set up something for the future of Red Skull, so that's something that some of these one-shots have done. Anyway, this one's written by Stephanie Phillips with artwork by somebody, Bianchi. But I liked it. I thought it was all right. It's basically Red Skull has to kill somebody. He has to sacrifice somebody. It's Tommaso Bianchi on the art. Red Skull's got to kill a dude for Mephisto to fulfill some bargain or something like that, but it turns out to be more of a pain in the ass than he wants it to be. It's all right. It's decent. These bring on the bad guys one-shots. Usually when Marvel does this like series of one-shots to tell a story, it's a little lackluster. This one's a little bit better than lackluster, so I guess that's luster. Because if it's lackluster, then it's full of luster. But not truly full of... Anyway, Fantastic Four is here with issue number 2. It got rebooted. Why? It's the exact same team. Well, it's a different artist, Humberto Ramos, but it's not quite the Humberto Ramos of, like, peak, which to me is like, I don't know, man. Some of his Spider-Man work, definitely Crimson. I'm a huge fan of his vampire book he did back at Cliffhanger in the late 90s, early 2000s. Crimson. I love that book so freaking much. Anyway, he's here on the art. Art's all right. But Ryan North is still the writer, but why did they reboot it? It's because there was a Fantastic Four movie, so they had to put out a new number 1, boosted up their sales. They got a lot of covers for issue number 2, so they're going to keep those sales strong for at least a couple of months, and then we'll see. Anyway, but it's Ryan North doing what he does, which is kind of like one-shot stories, focusing in on a single character for the most part, but they're playing around with something different here, because in the first issue, what happens is we're in the world of one world under Doom, where Doom is the emperor of everything. The Fantastic Four are there to try to stop him. Doom flings them all back through time at different periods of time, some even into the future, and it's them trying to survive this. It's rather clever how they do survive it, but some of it also is like, really? But it's all right. I think Ryan North's Fantastic Four run's been okay. Hasn't been mind-blowing, but it hasn't been completely dull and boring. It's been kind of just okay. Then we got Giant Size X-Men issue number 2, the latest in one of these Marvel series of one-shots to tell one story. So there was Giant Size X-Men, there was Giant Size Age of Apocalypse, there was Giant Size House of M, there's Giant Size Dark Phoenix, now there's Giant Size X-Men number 2. It's all about Legion and Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, being flung through time to different points and pivotal points of X-Men history, and it all ties itself back up, and it's just pretty lame. Honestly, I didn't like it. Like, I knew I wasn't going to like this, but when you read those one-shots, you're kind of like, you know what, it's not that bad. But then when you get to the end of it, and you get to all of it, and you just go, that was the whole point of this. Yeah, I didn't like it. But you know what, that's fine. Then we got X-Men issue number 20, and I didn't really like this one either. It's all right. It's nice to have... Well, I thought we had Ryan Stegman back, but we actually don't. It's Diaz. It's Nethro Diaz. But the art is okay. There's this dude who's in like part of this organization, Hunt Down Mutants. He's got this beef with Cyclops. So Cyclops and this dude have another discussion, then pretty much fight. That's going on. There's a lot of references to the Hellfire Vigil, just like being like, yo, that happened. We're going to pick up on some of those threads here. It's all right. The X-Men books are waning on me, to be honest, especially this main one. I've already dropped this book one time, then I got caught back up on it because there was like a crossover. I got caught back up onto it, and now I'm reading it again, but Age of Revelation's coming, and that sounds like that's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, so I don't know, I'm stuck with it for now, for some reason, I'm stuck with X-Men. I'm not really digging it that much, though. Then we got Spider-Man and Wolverine here with issue number 4. It's an alright issue of Spider-Man and Wolverine. I've been really liking this book, partly because of Kari Andrews on the artwork. Kari Andrews is not here. Already replaced Gerardo Sandoval, and I think this is just a mini-series. So is he gone for good, or is this supposed to be an ongoing? I don't know. Marvel doesn't really usually let us know these things, and I don't really super pay attention. But Sandoval's artwork is okay, and it's got energy, but it doesn't quite have what made this book stand out for me, which was in Andrew's artwork. Now, the story is fine. It's Wolverine. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man has discovered that Wolverine may be responsible for the death of his parents. They had a gnarly fight in issue number 2. It was awesome. The follow-up to that in 3 was pretty cool. And the story here is decent because they get flung into the Savage Land. They're hunted by Kraven and a bunch of others and this new villain and all this kind of stuff. And it's interesting and it's got a cool ending. But the art just didn't have that magic that was really selling this book for me. Then we got the Ultimates here with issue number 15. This is... So each issue of the Ultimates is basically self-contained, and writer Dennis Camp is kind of introducing us to the auxiliary members of the Ultimates and expanding out that world. We've had She-Hulk, we've had Hawkeye, we've had a bunch of characters being introduced in recent issues, and a lot of focus is on those characters. Here, it's kind of like Shang-Chi and Iron Fist, kind of both of those stories being told at once in a very interesting, cool way that's very much well thought out and mythological and quite magnificently mythical. I really liked this interpretation of the legend of Shang-Chi and the immortal Iron Fists and the immortal weapons, how it's tied into Hulk. I'm really digging what Dennis Camp is doing in the pages of Ultimates, and it's just going to continue to hit a peak until Ultimate Endgame releases in just a few months. Then we got Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, issue number 3, written by Dennis Camp as well as Cody Ziglar. Cody Ziglar, of course, is the writer of the Miles Morales book. So Miles is in the Ultimate Universe of the Maker's Design, here looking for his little daughter, or not daughter, his little sister. His little sister has been shunted away into the Ultimate Universe. He's there. It's been a couple months. He's kind of like looking for, he doesn't even know where to start. He winds up in Japan in the Ultimate Universe, going up against, or coming up with the meeting and teaming up with the Ultimate X-Men in this new Ultimate Universe. I like how this book is using Miles and his quest for his little sister to kind of show the connective tissue of all the Ultimate books, because we have references and appearances from like members of the Black Panther book, now Ultimate X-Men, the Ultimates, and now some other stuff coming up and setting up. But I'm liking it. It's cool. It feels like, I don't know what I should say here. What am I saying it feels like? It feels like the story is holding itself back because there's not much to it. He's just after his daughter, but or not his daughter, his sister. Miles doesn't have a daughter, at least not in this reality. But I like this book a lot. I just feel like sometimes it's like, is he looking for her? Because all he's doing is talking about looking for her, and I don't see him actually looking. All right, let's jump over to Image.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, well, it's a very special day. Today I'm giving a shout out to my buddy, Rockin' Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers. This is a huge anniversary, and let me tell you, as somebody that also makes YouTube videos, the grind ain't easy, man. It is tough sometimes. Sometimes you just want to quit. But the fact that you just kept going, brother, that's freaking awesome. Anyway, congratulations to you, your channel, and thank you for showing up on my channel whenever I need you. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We need to talk more horror movies, brother.
And from Image, we have The Unchosen, issue number 2. This is a new book from David Marquez, who we know as a great artist over at DC and Marvel, but now he's writing and illustrating his own book over at Image. Now, I really liked issue number 1 of this book, but I felt like it didn't really quite deliver enough of a hook or a pull into this world that David is creating. But in issue number 2, this is the issue where he spends a lot of time revealing motivations of our characters, who our main character is, and a little bit about her mysterious past and what exactly is going on in this world. Now, it's a world in which there's this magical element, right? There's something called the Word. And so there's a lot about the specific inherent sacred nature of language, especially if you go to the ancient root core of what language is and what it represents as words of power. So there's a group of kids that are gathered to be basically part of this school that's like training them, and then there's this other group of people that are after them. You know, your typical kind of scenario, right? But I thought issue number 2 did a great job of elaborating on this world and kind of rounding out and fleshing out some of these characters. And the art was absolutely magnificent. I liked issue number 1, but issue number 2 I liked even more. And issue number 2 actually causes me to love issue number 1. So The Unchosen, 2 issues in so far, I'm really digging it. I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer, issue number 5, the latest effort from Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard. This is the final concluding chapter of I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer, and it ends in bloody, gory, violent mayhem and fun. I had so much fun with this book. It's about exactly what the title is telling you it's about. It's about a woman who is a fashion school student who's also a serial killer, but some of these people need to be serial killed. You know what I'm saying? And she has to come to terms with that, with herself, with finding friends for the first time, and having something worth fighting for. So it's not just an obsession, but now there's something honorable about it a little bit in a way. But like I said, it is just crazy, bloody, gory, violent, mayhem, and fun. I had so much fun with this series, and the ending was a blast. Another ending that was really strong, Bug Wars issue number 6. Bug Wars issue number 6 was so frickin' strong. I was really surprised. I really like Bug Wars. Think Game of Thrones meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? There's this magical fantasy world called the Yard, and it's literally this kid's front yard, and his brother mows the grass and kills all these bugs. So all these bugs are actually kingdoms, right? In a fantasy Game of Thrones type situation where there's all these different factions, and there's the bees and the beetles and the spiders, and they all operate and they all have these machinations against each other, right? And so this kid, who is the younger brother of this dude who mows the grass, so all the bugs are trying to kill this kid because they call him the Anaraiser or whatever because he kills all the bug kingdoms and stuff. And so his little brother, something in his family heritage with this mystical object that he finds, causes him to shrink down. He's the chosen one. So it's all been building up. And I think the book is really strong, but I felt like at times the book was it was all right. Like, it was above average for certain all the way across. But the issues themselves kind of went like this. But this was a damn strong finale. One of the best endings I've read from Jason Aaron. And, of course, setting up more to come. I liked this world. I loved this story. I loved this ending. There's more Bug Wars on the way, and I'm definitely going to check them out. Then we got Transformers here with issue number 23, the penultimate issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's run on Transformers. We only have one more issue to go. That is sad, but man, you can tell that the end game is upon us because everything is just coming to such a crazy, exhilarating, exciting, and ecstatic ending here. Megatron is so badass. Starscream is still getting slapped around like a little bitch. Optimus Prime is still being as heroic as hell. It is absolutely awesome. The core of these characters, the tragedy of war, how that all gets tied together. The humans that I care about, never, hardly ever in Transformers, ever anything have I cared about the humans as much as I do here. And Jorge Corona just knocking the shit out of the artwork. Gritty, textured, dynamic, explosive, kinetic. Fan-frickin-tastic. Transformers has been one of my favorite books since it started about 2 years ago. Continues to be so this month. Then we got Spawn, issue 367. This is basically the last part, I think, of Hell Hath Arisen. Maybe there's another, like a coda or something, but basically this giant monster has been sent from hell. Giant kaiju-sized monster that's just terrorizing thing. All the spawns, including Al and his teams, they're all there trying to fight it. And this is kind of the climactic ending of it. And I think Brett Booth knocks it out of the park. I really liked the artwork in this book. I liked how this villain was able to take out, very brutally, I might add, some of the auxiliary Spawn characters. But Spawn's been kind of hit or miss for me. It's been a little bit up and down at times, especially lately. But I really liked this issue in particular. This is what I want out of Spawn. Just crazy, violent action and excitement. So we get that about every 3 to 5 issues. All right, then we got King Spawn here with issue number 48. King Spawn's been one that I feel has lost a little bit of its identity since Spawn 350, and it kind of game changed some stuff. And like King Spawn, it almost feels like, what is the place of this book, right? And it almost kind of felt that way the whole time, but at least it felt more like it had a direction. However, this is kind of just a single one and done self-contained issue about Spawn completely terrorizing these dudes that he's after in a very Spectre kind of way, and I loved it. This was my favorite issue of King Spawn in a long time. Like, for real. This was really fun. I like this. Maybe the identity of this King Spawn book should just be like self-contained, small little just Spawn vignettes or something in that Spectre kind of vein. I mean, very much Spectre here, if you know what I'm saying. So I really liked it. Let's jump over to Dynamite, where we got Space Ghost issue number 1. This is actually volume 2. Issue number 1 is kicking off the second season of Space Ghost. Still written by David Pepose with artwork by Jonathan Lau. This book takes everything that was done in the first one and then reestablishes itself as one of the best superhero comics today, and it gets the job done of an issue number 1 done perfectly, 100%. This is a continuation of something that's already happened. We've already had 12 issues plus an annual of Space Ghost, and it's all led up to this. But if you didn't read any of that, you can jump right in here because this job, or this book does the job of giving you a full self-contained story, introducing you to our main character, Space Ghost, his power set, a villain, and a full story, and at the same time catching you up on everything that's happened and setting you up for success for the second year of this title. Space Ghost has been absolutely amazing. It's got this great Alex Ross cover, and you know what? That's the cover of the week. Definitely 100%. There you go. I love it. We also got Captain Planet and the Planeteers, issue number 3, also from David Pepose, with artwork from Iman Casalos. I am having a lot of fun with this one, honestly. Captain Planet was a cartoon I watched when I was a kid, and I loved it. I even had some of the action figures. Back in the day, there was a whole thing about, like, pro-environmental, anti-pollution cartoons like Captain Planet and Toxic Crusaders, and I ate that shit up. I loved it. And this is a really badass modern retelling of the story of Captain Planet, and I feel like a lot of other people would have taken their time to build this out, but David Pepose knows what he needs to do. He needs to get in there, reestablish the lore, set us up in this new vision, this new world of Captain Planet, and then just freaking go. And that's what this book does. Captain Planet was first formed in the last issue, right? Now we got the Planeteers already working together or working against each other. What's going on there? But interesting things are going on with Captain Planet, and issue number 3 is no freaking exception. Then we got Thundercats Powerpuff Girls issue number 2. This book is light. This book is charming. This book is cute. This book is silly. This book is dumb. But this book is quite fun. I have a lot of fun with this book. It is very much more in the line and vein of a Powerpuff Girls property and less Thundercats. The Thundercats are more appropriating the Powerpuff Girls tone, but it works because it also still has this sense of inherent danger and established base in Thundercats lore, but it's playing with it. It's having fun with it. This book is exactly what it is meant to be, and it is exceedingly good at that. Then we got the Powerpuff Girls Supervillain Summer Spectacular. This is a one-shot. It's really fun. It's written by James III, who you might know from the Astronomy Club on Comedy Central and on Netflix. I've had him on the show a couple of times. Really cool dude. Check out those conversations. But Powerpuff Girls Supervillain Summer Spectacular. The town of Townsville is empty because everybody's over at the theme park, including all the Powerpuff Girls and all of their villains. So they go there, they're just trying to have fun, get away from the villains, but the villains are there because it's Villain Day. And it's just silly, rambunctious, stupid Powerpuff Girls fun. If you like the Powerpuff Girls, you definitely need to check this out and this out. And if you're not super stuck up about the Thundercats and you like some Powerpuff Girls, definitely check that one out too. From Valiant, that's right, Valiant's back with Valiant Beyond. New worlds, new interpretations of their characters, new reader friendly. Let's jump in. First one is Bloodshot, issue number 1. I did not like this book at all. It's all right. It's really wordy, but the dialogue is a little like off. It's bad. There's some I think the dialogue is a little weak in this issue, and the story and the setup, it's using vampires, and that's interesting, and the twist at the end of this book was interesting enough, but the execution and the road to get there, it was kind of boring. It wasn't that exciting. It was way too wordy. It needs to be more action heavy, more action packed. I mean, that stuff's in there, but I don't know. It's just the verbose nature of it and the nature of the dialogue and the narrative, it's the narration itself. It just makes this kind of a dull book, and that's unfortunate, at least for me. Then we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 3, issue number 1. Pretty solid. It's exactly what you expect. Turtles, Power Rangers, they've teamed up before. They're teaming up again. They're working together, but so is Lord Zed and Shredder. They're working together too, trying to figure out ways to get their villains to be able to morph. Like Bebop and Rocksteady. What happens if they morph into their own versions of Power Rangers? That's what you see here. Some exciting stuff, and a pretty crazy ending here in issue number 1 of TMNT Power Rangers Volume 3. We'll have to see what they do with that. Anyway, I liked it. If you like the other ones, you're going to like it. It's not going to change your life, though. Trust me. Then we got Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, issue number 3. Written by Frank Thierry with artwork by Angel Hernandez. I really like this book. It's super fun. It's like playing with 50s American sci-fi UFO type stuff, but in the Godzilla world, and mixing them together. It's not trying to be too modern with it. It feels very much rooted in classic UFO and alien sci-fi, as well as classic kaiju and Godzilla stuff. I really like the book. I have a lot of fun with it. It's not taking itself too seriously, so I don't take it too seriously, which means we take each other seriously enough. I like it. I like the tone of it. All right, then we got Quick Stops, Volume 3, Issue number 1. I haven't been reading the Quick Stops, but I picked this one up because this one, Kevin Smith said, was going to be the Chasing Amy comic that Holden McNeil makes and gives to Alyssa at the end of the movie Chasing Amy. And it's that same cover, and I wanted to check it out. And it's just basically Chasing Amy. It's just a comic book retelling of Chasing Amy. It's cool to have as an artifact now in the collection, but that's really what it is. It's just Chasing Amy. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess what's cool about it, though, is there is the exploration of Holden in the narration talking about his decisions and why he was making decisions. So it's cool. It's cool that this exists. I would have loved to have had this like 25 years ago. That would have been cool. Then we got Conan the Barbarian, issue number 23. We are building up into this big serpent story that Jim Zub is setting up. What's it called again? I don't even know what it's called. Something with the serpent's lair or something. Anyway, we're building up into that. So here you got Conan. In the last issue, he was kind of like captured by this woman and made to be a gladiator. He's now breaking out of that with the help of his friend. What is this dude's name? Zula. Zula is like a shape-shifting dude who can turn into a panther. He can turn into a woman. So him and Conan have him transform into this super sexy sorceress. And then her and Conan go to this meeting with, is it Thulsa Doom? It's one of those guys. It's one of these guys. I'm sure there's Thothamon and then there's Thulsa Doom. It's one of those dudes. What is his name? Anyway, this dude right here. So they go to try to see if they can get some information on his plan. The art is amazing on this book. And I've had so much fun with Jim Zub's Conan book already. And it's continuing to just continue to be fun. And then Fernando Dagnino, freaking amazing. I love the art in this book. I love the sense of this book knows what it is. It's just trying to be a badass Conan book. It's not trying to break any rules. It's not trying to push things too far. It's just a super solid Conan book, and it's one of the best books on shelves. Then from Mad Cave, we have The Slasher's Apprentice, issue number 4, the penultimate issue of this book, written by Justin Richards, with artwork by Val Halverson, same team as Finger Guns, and I loved issue number 4, and I even love more what it's setting up for the finale in issue number 5. So this is about a woman. She's obsessed with serial killers, right, and slashers, so she finds her favorite slasher, but she's like, yo, you're a little old school, you're becoming a little irrelevant, so let me be your apprentice, and I will help you regain your popularity. And there is a new killer that's introduced, and the way that things happen in issue number 4 and the way it sets up issue number 5 is frickin' fantastic. So if you're a fan of slashers, definitely I would recommend Slasher's Apprentice from our homie Justin Richards. All right, I got one collection I want to show off today. Black Kiss Omnibus. This is out from Image Comics. This is Howard Chaykin's erotic crime story, I believe is what it is. I've never read it. It's hard-boiled erotic noir, right? Now, this collects the original series from the 80s, the sequel they did from 2012, the Christmas special they did, and a brand new Halloween special that was produced for this collection alone. It is $40. It's a lot of content and a beautiful hardcover. I have always wanted to grab a hold of these and read them. Now I have the chance, and that's super cool. So Black Kiss, the Omnibus from Howard Chaykin, is out this week. All right, let's talk about this real quick. A few weeks ago, I just randomly decided at the end I would give You Dig ratings out of 5 for the comics. And immediately I had a lot of comments of people saying, yo, I love this, keep it. So I kept it. Now I'm starting to get some comments from people saying they don't like the You Dig thing. So I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you want me to keep the You Dig recap at the end, or do you just want us to not do the You Dig thing? I don't know. Anyway, we're doing the You Dig thing. Slasher's Apprentice, issue number 4. I'm going to give this 3.5 you digs. Pretty solid book. Conan the Barbarian, I'm giving this one a 4 you digs. That's such a great book with great art. This Quick Stop book, I'll give a 3. It's solid, it's needed, but it was needed 25 years ago. Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, I'm going to give this 3. It's super solid, the artwork is clean, but it doesn't really push or try to do too much, but it does exactly what it needs to do. It's super solid. Power Rangers TMNT, Volume 3, Issue number 1. I'll give this one a 3 you digs as well. Bloodshot, though, I'm going to give this one a 2 you digs. Powerpuff Girls Supervillain Special gets a 3 you digs. Thundercats Powerpuff Girls gets 3 you digs. Captain Planet gets 3.5. Space Ghost gets a 4. King Spawn, I'm going to give this one 3 you digs. And this issue of Spawn, I'm going to give this one 3 as well. This Transformers, though, I'm going to give it 4 you digs. Bug Wars gets a 4.5. I Was a High School, or I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer gets a 4 you digs. The Unchosen, I will give 4 as well. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, I'll give 3.5. Ultimates, I'll give 4. Spider-Man Wolverine, I'll give a 3. X-Men, I'll give it a 2.5. But I'll also give it the smell of the week because it smells like wasted potential and really nice paper. All right, then we got Giant Size X-Men. I'm going to give this one a 2 you digs. Fantastic Four, I'm going to give a 2.5 you digs. Bring On the Bad Guys, Red Skull will get a 3 you digs. Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck will get a 3.5. Predator Kills the Marvel Universe will get a 3 you digs. That's a facsimile, so we don't need a you digs it. Gotham by Gaslight, League for Justice, issue number 2 gets a 3.5. Batman Dark Patterns gets a 4.5. Green Lantern Corps gets a 3. Aquaman gets a 2.5. Action Comics gets a 3.5. And Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, gets an enthusiastic 4.5 you digs. All right, that's what I thought. That's what I'm reading. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. I was alone at night, and I thought to myself, boom!